arrived, it had snow and everything, so you can imagine how cold it was really. And the first part of actually building the house was that they gave us some polystyrene and these plastic like tie things that you just screw into the wood. And what surprised us was the speed that you could actually do the house. Lizzie said that she was really glad that we were coming to do this kind of work, because obviously if you're just digging out a trench or making foundations, you don't really see much of your work. She said, but she wanted us to go on to something like this because she said you'd be surprised from, you'd actually go, first seeing the house to what you're going to walk away from is quite dramatic. And what really surprised me was the fact that it did go up so quick. But they don't waste anything. So if you had a small piece, you had to make it fit somewhere because they wouldn't waste anything. At the end of it, they actually went round and made sure that all the screws that were on the floor were all picked up. All the bits of plastic were picked up. They had to use absolutely everything. So as you can see, like the first bit that we got around to at the beginning of the day was to actually put the polystyrene up. I think we got that finished first day, didn't we? It was that quick doing that. And then obviously the bit at the bottom you can see is the start of the rendering work. But once you'd actually put the polystyrene on, you'd then put a mesh over the top, and then you do this render. And the first lot of render that you can just see it down in the bottom right hand corner. The stuff that you put on it had a funny smell to it, but it wasn't tacky, it was a bit like cement, but the idea was that you used that to put the mesh onto the polystyrene. And then when you did that, once that was set and done, you then put another render over the top, which was the final finish. And then you made this absolutely marvellous idea. Once the actual render was on, in order to make the render smooth, for those people who weren't very good at doing it, what they did was they got a piece of polystyrene, you just dipped it in the water, and then you just run it along the edge. And what that did was it put a texture actually onto the finished product for when we ended up painting. So everybody really worked well. As you can see, you've got Alan. Alan's come quite a few times. As, some of you hopefully are getting to know Alan. He became our foreman, and there was nobody at all like Alan. He was absolutely brilliant. They said to us when we started, rather than having everybody thinking that they know what they do, pick one person to be your foreman, and any questions that you've got, go through him. Well, of course, like Alan was thinking at first, not sure whether I can do this. But he was absolutely brilliant. He was kind of like the go-between. And by him doing that, it just meant that everything ran a lot smoother. One of the other jobs that we had to do, as you can see, our Matt's doing it here, but it was Jeff who was our man, who did this mostly. And that was actually mixing the render. And the way that they did that was just with a drill, with a little spiral thing on it. And that was hard work, that was, wasn't it, Jeff? Because the actual water that they used out of the stream or out of the river that was at the side. And unfortunately, as Jill had probably shared once before, that water they used for everything. And of course, like you're getting your hands in it, and so it's not a very hygienic job, but it was something that if ever we needed render, it was done, it was there. Jeff was an absolute star, he worked his heart out, but along with that, so did everybody else. It was fantastic. The workmanship, everybody working together, was brilliant. Along with working, so as you can see, there's a couple of us working there. This was the top ones was the second day. It got really, really warm, really, really nice. As you can see, there's various things. But if you go down to the next slide, it got that warm on the second day. What they're actually doing there is putting sun cream on each other's back. Right? So it was weird because we went the first day and it was just the right weather to be putting polystyrene up. We went the second day and it was just the right weather to put the render on. What really surprised all of us as we had a time of prayer before we started in the morning was the fact that God was behind it all. Every single day was just the right weather for what was needed. Even when we actually went out for a day, it rained only while we were travelling. And then as soon as we got there, sunshine came out. So it was one of the things that really struck us all, I suppose, is that as we were praying, God was behind all of it. And this was a really exciting day. It was a good day. So within 4 days, we managed to get it, well, in 3 days, we managed to get it finished. That included putting the polystyrene on. As you can see in the top left-hand corner, you've got the render at the top that isn't quite finished there, and then the render underneath that's going over the top of that. And even some of this little lad down on the left-hand side at the bottom, he was one of the children who's actually out the house. And as you're painting away, suddenly they come up and nick your brush just to have a go. No, suddenly they felt as though it was their job as well. And there we are, finally completed, Wednesday, everybody happy. Okay, I'll just point out just on this slide actually, very quickly, that while some of us were doing the house, they were breaking away constantly, each person was breaking off. And actually going and getting alongside the kids as well. So there was two things going on. There was not only we were just painting a house or getting a house ready, but also there was all this work. Every one of us, these people behind here, and every one of us who went away, really just blended with the kids that were there. They really, really got on. So I thought that was brilliant.
Basically, the last night it was like started off as a barbecue. We had all different food. We had Romanian food as well, which I didn't like. I'm not a big fan of food, to be honest. I'm a bit fussy. Then afterwards, like you see, it's all right. Read the lanterns. Well, we got our lanterns before. We all wrote like an individual prayer off and stuff like that. We actually had about 20 lanterns. 19, well only 18 went up because someone set fire to theirs. But they're not here, so don't laugh at any of them because they're not here. And we had a little go of the karaoke. There's us on the karaoke. No. There's us on the karaoke. We had ice cream, big bowl of ice cream, you all have one of them. There's Alan, our Alan, doing all the cooking, in Alan we trust. What else did we do? That's it. Okay, I'm done, thank you.
The certificates, and this is what it says on the certificates. For selfless contribution to the development and well-being of impoverished children and families in Romania by offering your appreciated support to the Better Homes project run by FAST. A better home provides a safe, secure shelter, helping a family to live in dignity and helps to promote good health. This certificate thanks you for being a friend of FAST and for your role in helping us to pursue our vision of fighting against poverty through education. With the most sincere appreciation, President of the Foundation, Daniel. So if we can ask Stacey, if you stand up, look, and we can take round of applause. Robin, Matthew, yeah. Ian, Chris, Alice,
Caroline?
So we'd just like to thank you all for your support, and if it happens again next year, will you support us again? So thank you very much. It is the first Sunday of the month, and it's a really good time to have our communion, because you know what communion is? It's the family meal. It's where Jesus and his friends and his disciples were all around taking that meal together. And so we just want to thank you for being our family, for your support, and we're going to take our communion meal together.